Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. So today's video, we're going to talk about, today's video is going to be a Prepper movie critique. Now, I did this Prepper movie critique before the channel was deleted. The original channel was deleted. So I'm doing it again. And I actually broke it up this time to be, better. Because when I first did it, there's a lot to cover in this movie. So the movie that we're talking about is Contagion. So, Contagion, guys, was a very good movie. Whether you're into shit like that, you should definitely watch it. I think every prepper should watch it. There's a lot to learn in a movie like that. So the movie stars Lawrence Fishburne, Matt Damon, Kate Winslet, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Jude Law. Now, a lot of you know Jude Law's character in the movie. He was who a lot of us are. We'll get into that in a little bit. Synopsis of the movie is a contagion breaks out. And it doesn't decimate the world, but it kills a lot of people around the world. And it actually starts in Hong Kong because of a bat. Right? So, again, look at that storyline. Look how it matched ours in real life. Now, we're going to do a comparison of real life and movie for this Prepper critique. Social distancing versus no social distancing. Now, in the movie, social distancing was supposed to be 10 feet. In real life, it was 6 feet. In the movie, they didn't demonstrate the social distancing. They just said it, especially when they were going to wait online for their arm ticket. In real life, social distancing was everywhere. We saw it all over the place, right? And they had you actually stand 6 feet apart. And if you didn't stand 6 feet apart from somebody was yelling at you. Where in the movie, they didn't. Now, social distancing in real life didn't work. It just didn't. People still got sick. 6 feet apart probably wasn't enough. If you were going to social distance, you had to, from what I've read, 12 feet. That was the social distancing recommendation before this pandemic happened. Our pandemic, that is, Mr. 19, COVID. They said 12 feet. That was a safeguard. 6 feet was too close. So again, that's why it didn't work. Because come to find out, it's supposed to be 12. And I read that during the pandemic that it had to be 12. Some reason they disregarded and made it 6. Whatever. Martial law versus no martial law. Now, here, in the movie, they had martial law. Which, they vaguely mentioned. And then we saw the breakdown of society. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But we had lockdowns. So they had martial laws there. But they had lockdowns in real life, and not every state had lockdowns, and not every city or town had lockdowns. So lockdowns were at the very least, done by the city officials. So city officials or town officials were able to do it. It wasn't a blanket, we're locking the country down. They were like, we suggest you guys lock it down, and we'll see how it works. In the movie, they had martial law, and it still didn't work. Again, none of these things really work. They're trying to throw shit at the wall to see what sticks. Both the CDC, WHO, and every other medical agency out there. In the movie, there was also state lockdowns, right? So you weren't able to leave to go to another state. You had to stay where you were. We didn't really see that, though we did see state troopers pulling people over who were coming from New York and traveling to like Rhode Island or Massachusetts, whatever it was. But that was short-lived. There was actually no state that said you can't come here, because imagine trying to implement that. You would need National Guards to stop that at every roadway leading into your state. So we didn't see that here. But in the movie, Matt Damon's character was trying to get into, if I'm not mistaken, Wisconsin. And they told him no, and he had to pull a U-turn and go back home and stay there. Societal breakdown, we didn't really see that here. In the movie, we saw it. But in real life, we really didn't see societal breakdown. I mean, you did see people losing their shit. We did see a couple of riots, but though the riots were actually because of George Floyd and not so much COVID, we didn't see societal breakdown like we thought we were going to see. And I think, personally, the virus would have had to have been way fucking worse for there to be a societal breakdown. In the movie, people rioting, looting pharmacies, rioting stores. When they were waiting online for the MREs and the guy says we're out, they raided the truck to try to get more MREs when there was none because they gave them all out. This is why we prepare so we don't end up on those lines, right? And Matt Damon seemed to be in the middle of all of that situation. He was in the middle of a riot. He's walking down the street. He's like, oh my God, they're rioting, right? And then he's waiting on line, and then a riot breaks out with the MRE line. So it was like he was a catalyst of all this shit, if you ask me. Anyway, that being said, guys, that is why we prepare. So we don't wait on line and we don't end up in the middle of shit like that. Because then it turns into a stampede. And yeah, you might not get shot or killed, or you might not get shot or stabbed, but you'll definitely get run over. That's what stampedes are. And they stampeded in that movie to try to get more food that was already given out. In the movie, they were also riding at the pharmacy over a drug called Forsythia, right? So Forsythia was our version of ivermectin. Except for in the movie, they didn't really say whether it worked or not, which I liked about it. So I thought that was pretty cool. But they did ride over this drug. And some people, including myself, thought we were going to see riots over the arm ticket. But it never happened because they had so many stocked away already. My suspicion is they were already stocking this arm ticket before it actually got released. But that's my conspiracy theory warped bullshit. Now, the spread of the disease in the movie spread like wildfire. I think it was something like 30 days to the effect that a whole lot of people got here in the to spread around the world. It's like 30 days. In the real world, in real life, we watched this thing in China back in, 2020 or 2019? We watched this thing start in China back in November. And then we're sitting there looking at it going, all right, when are they going to start locking down that border? They didn't. Then it got here, and then all hell broke loose. But it didn't spread like wildfire like it did in the movie. Though it seemed like it. I mean, it spread fairly fast, but not like the movie. The movie was like 30 days, the way it spread. It took months to spread to that kind of capacity. And yet we still didn't reach the numbers like they did in the movies, in Contagion. So that's a good thing. Now, the next virus that they tinker with that has a better spread rate or contagion rate, we're probably going to see something move that fast. Now, the military rationing food. I spoke about that just a couple of minutes ago. In the movie, they were rationing food. In real life, there was no rationing food. But in China, they were doing something where they had like people sending them food to buildings because they couldn't go out and eat. But the military still didn't get involved, even in China. Military didn't get involved here. But in the movie, again, Matt Damon's online waiting for some food, for some MREs. All hell breaks loose once people find out that there's no more food to be given. Again, that's why we prepare, because we don't want to be in that line. We don't want any, listen, you don't want to get a box of MREs and start trying to make it back home and someone attacks you. We prepare, we have our own boxes of MREs, so that doesn't happen. Now, Jude Law's character in the movie, which I thought was pretty good, he was just like us. And I hate to say it that way, because he was using logic. He was talking about how this started here and this started there, and he picked up on it before it actually spread. But of course, in the movie, they made him the villain. But what I like what they did with him is that they never exactly told us whether or not he was lying. They never told him that Forsythia didn't work, or it worked. And they did tell us that he didn't have the virus, that he wasn't sick. He didn't have any antibodies. So that we found out he was lying on. But then again, it was a government agency, and even he said, well, that's what you guys say, but I'll get tested again, or something to that effect. So even he didn't believe the government, and he wound up being one of us. So they put a representative of us in it, except for we weren't going to go as far as he did and wear this suit. I was out on wearing that shit. And I know people were thinking about it. I know a lot of you motherfuckers were thinking about building a suit like that when COVID first started and walking around like a fucking plastic robot. I was out on that shit. But nonetheless, guys, the movie mirrored what we went through for the most part, minus a couple of things like societal breakdown, military food rationing. There were a lot of things that went down. And then the arm ticket in the movie took, I think, 1.5 years to make, where with us took less than a year, 9 months. Very, very wrong. And Jude Law's character didn't want anybody taking the shot, and he wasn't going to take the shot. And exactly, you got that exact group of people, us. But like, we're not taking this fucking shit. Suck a dick. So now, in the in the movie, not in the movie, but like when you buy Contagion, either DVD now or you buy it on Apple TV, there is a PSA about Mr. 19. And of course, guys, like anything else, it didn't age well. It's the worst PSA ever. They had the stars from the movie, Kate Winslet, I think Gwyneth Paltrow, Lawrence Fishburne. No, not Gwyneth Paltrow. The cute chick from Inception. This chick here. She was in the PSA as well, and it aged bad. That's all it was. It was like, do this, wash your hands, and 6 feet apart, wear a mask, and all of it bullshit, because none of it worked. Because I know people who did all of that shit and still got sick. So anyway, guys, movie's very good. Avoid the PSA if you happen to buy it. I think you can watch it. No, you can't watch it on Netflix. I don't think so. But just, try it. But if not, Apple TV has it for like $4 or $5 or whatever it is. It's a very good movie, very entertaining, even to this day. After all we went through, still an entertaining movie. Other than that, guys, I will be doing Prepper Movie Critiques more often now, probably 1 or 2 a month. But see you guys in the next video.